Queensland will become the first state to ban a pro-Palestine slogan under sweeping new hate speech laws. Nazi and terror symbols will also be outlawed in the government's response to the Bondi Beach attack.
At Brisbane's Holocaust Museum, a walk through history's darkest chapter, real memories and raw emotion.
Holocaust survivors and their descendants tell us that they never thought they'd see this again, but they have.
Modern hate, a Jewish group say, has been allowed to fester.
The last 2.5 years as Queensland Jews, we felt demonised.
Today, pleased with the proposal of new state laws to clamp down on hate speech in response to the Bondi Beach attack.
This is very specific, and it's about a terrorist attack that spawned from anti-Semitism.
Including a maximum 7 years jail for damaging places of worship, prohibiting the display of Nazi and terrorist symbols, including the Hamas and Islamic State flags, also banning slogans like this.
Globalise the Intifada means the killing of Jews.
And from the river to the sea, used by pro-Palestine groups, a New South Wales parliamentary committee recently opted not to outlaw the chant because its meaning is contested.
It means to slaughter Jews.
From the river to the sea is a call for equality for all people.
The hate speech legislation will be introduced here to Parliament on Tuesday, along with new gun laws. The government says the major reforms will be signed off by Cabinet tomorrow.
We will be taking action on guns against terrorists and criminals.
Locked and loaded for an imminent announcement. Garth Burley, 7 News.
Queensland will soon lead the way when it comes to cracking down on anti-Semitism, becoming the first state to ban terror slogans and phrases. It's part of a raft of new laws the state government will bring in to stamp out racism and extremism in the wake of the Bondi terror attack.
15 innocent people killed at a Hanukkah celebration sent shockwaves across the country and saw tears shed for our Jewish community.
Holocaust survivors and their descendants tell us that they never thought they'd see this again, but they have.
Now December's terror attack at Bondi Beach is sparking change here. The Premier taking aim at hate speech this week in the first parliamentary sitting since the tragedy.
And we won't accept the seeds of anti-Semitism that became what they were.
The flying of the Hamas flag, Nazi emblems and Islamic State flag among terrorist symbols to be banned, with those displaying them facing 2 years behind bars, while this controversial chant, which Palestinians say has been a cry for human rights for decades and also has links to genocide for the Jewish community, is now one of 2 phrases said to be prohibited from being distributed, published, displayed or recited, with the offences carrying a maximum 2 years jail, despite New South Wales stopping short of taking that step.
These sayings have no place in Queensland when they are used to incite hatred, offence and menace.
Impeding or harassing people attending religious services would carry a maximum of 3 years imprisonment, causing willful damage to a place of worship, 7 years jail, while the penalty for assaulting or threatening a person officiating a religious ceremony will increase from 2 to 5 years jail.
These news and these red lines will have some way of making us feel a lot safer than we are today.
While the Premier's firmly rejected the Prime Minister's gun buyback scheme, gun reform in Queensland is on the radar, with the state government's plans on that to be revealed tomorrow.
What we're going after, terrorists and crooks. And our response to you tomorrow afternoon will show how serious we are about dealing with that.
Kate Lamb, 9.
On the night after the massacre of 15 innocent people at Bondi, 50 days ago today, I scoffed at the government's immediate pivot to gun laws. As I said at the time, the terrorist threat often involves Islamist extremism, and we've seen alleged Islamist extremists in the past use knives, planes, cars and trucks. Well, additional armed guards were on duty at Jewish schools today when they opened. Imagine that, sending your kids to schools that you know could be terrorist targets. It's unimaginable for most of us, but that's the reality for so many Jewish parents that I've spoken with. But while those armed guards were in place, let me show you something else. I can show you this first. It hasn't been reported elsewhere. I shot these pictures myself this morning on my iPhone outside synagogues in Sydney's eastern suburbs. New temporary traffic barriers have been installed outside a lot of synagogues and at nearby traffic lights and pedestrian crossings. I saw these outside at least 5 synagogues. They're the cement and plastic barriers. They're clearly designed to protect pedestrians. Jewish congregations typically walk to and from their local synagogues for their Sabbath services. Now, obviously, the protection is a good thing if it adds to safety and peace of mind, but it should not be necessary. We need to tackle the Islamist extremism, the anti-Semitism, the hatred, not build fortresses around our Jewish compatriots. Here's Prime Minister Anthony Albanese last month.
The legislation will also set up the National Guns Buyback Scheme, bringing Australia's world-leading gun laws into the 21st century and getting guns off our streets.
Sure, but you can't get the cars and trucks off our streets. Instead, we install bollards and barriers in our suburbs. This proves that gun laws are not enough. In fact, the traffic barriers are an admission that gun laws are not enough. You must tackle the real problem, the one whose name our leaders dare not speak: Islamist extremism. Last night at Bondi, I attended the last memorial service and reading of victims' names to be held at the Bondi Pavilion, the temporary memorial site set up immediately after the Bondi attack. Shari Markson played a key role with Rabbi Yossi Friedman, along with survivors of the massacre and relatives of victims. I was honoured to be asked to speak, and I mentioned that the need for armed guards for Jewish school children and synagogues was a dark stain on our nation.
The Jewish community, my heart weeps for you because you've suffered so much and you're on the front line. But we all have to share with our friends, the rest of the country, the urgency that this is a fight that belongs to all of us. It's a fight to protect our Jewish brothers and sisters, but it's a fight to protect the very soul of the nation.
Brendan O'Neill, the brave and prolific Spiked online commentator, was visiting from the UK, and he made typically strong points.
Both in Britain and Australia, Jews have been warning for more than 2 years that anti-Semitism is out of control. And yet our cowardly political class did nothing. They looked the other way. They refused to grapple with the forces of Islamism, Israelophobia, and outright anti-Semitism. Well, enough is enough.
Yes, indeed. Brendan O'Neill will join me here tomorrow night. Now, don't think this threat is over. Don't think it is not your concern. Don't let up on the pressure for stronger action. And please, show your support for your Jewish Australian neighbours, as the very soul of our nation is at stake.
A major police operation is gearing up across Sydney for the arrival of Israel's president. The government has expanded police powers as they call for calm. Protesters plan to rally at Town Hall on Monday afternoon in Sydney.
Well, our message is that Isaac's Herzog trip should be cancelled. If he does set foot in this country, he should be arrested.
More than 3,000 officers will be deployed with...
The problem with that, viewers, is that that man should be arrested. Josh Lees should be arrested.
Police warning they won't tolerate violence. The Prime Minister says he and the Israeli President will meet with the families of the Bondi terror attack victims.
Oh well, the next 4 days in Australia are going to be very interesting indeed when it comes to these protesters. I'll see you on the next one.